This meeting of the planning mission for April 17th, 2024 is called to order at 6:01 p.m. Will let's see if we're asked Commissioner Houston, if you'd like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Can't wait. Can't wait. Okay.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you. Will the secretary please call for the roll?
Chairperson Richard,
Present.
Vice Chairperson Cohens, Commissioner Houston,
present.
All right. Thank you. Oral communications. This is the time for the public to address the Planning Commission on items not on the public hearing portion of the agenda. After obtaining permission to proceed by the presiding officer, speakers should state their state their full name and address for the record. It's not required. The speakers shall limit their address to 3 minutes. Any public comments that are discriminatory, defamatory, or otherwise not protected speech will not be considered, consented to, or otherwise adopted by the Planning Commission in its deliberations and findings. As a courtesy to others, please silence cell phones or other electronic devices. The Planning Commission strives to treat all participants with civility, and we ask you to do the same. Is there anyone who would like to address the Planning Commission on items not on the agenda? Okay. Seeing no one, I will close oral communications. Planning Commission consent calendar.
We have 2 items on the consent calendar today. Number 1 is a release of covenant for 3301 West Rosecrans Avenue and the parcel on Lamole Avenue that is to the northeast of that property. They are currently tied for parking purposes, but the Rosecrans site has acquired the adjacent property for additional parking, so this covenant is no longer needed. And the second item is the Planning Commission minutes of February 21st, 2024.
Okay. So we're going to go. Where am I at here now?
It's missing from the script, but we need to take a vote on.
Do we vote on the meeting minutes or just the meeting? Right?
No, you can do them both together.
Okay.
We need a motion and a second.
We need a motion to approve the minutes and to approve the covenant.
Yes, unless somebody wants to take one and talk about it separately.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes or the covenant, or unless there's questions about anything. And just the minutes, or that?
Well, I didn't know if Ruby had any questions.
Well, there's 2 ways to go about it. You can ask your questions now, and then we can vote if you're satisfied, or you can pull it off of the consent calendar, and then we'll take them separately.
Hold on just 1 second.
I'll go. I had one minor question about the covenant. I noticed at the bottom it said it was filed by the San Diego, and I was wondering why that was the case.
That's a good question. Oh, that's just the notary, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where this this person who had who signed the original covenant must have been in San Diego at the time, probably lives there, and the notary has to be in the of the county where it is actually signed rather than their residence.
And the Los Angeles tag stamp is on the top of it.
Okay.
Can we just separate it? I think it'll be easier for everybody if we just separate these 2. Because it's creating confusion a little bit. I'm not sure if I'm alone with that. If we can just do the minutes and then we just
have
hop
a
on
motion.
the other one.
We have a motion to approve the minutes.
Yep.
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Houston?
Approved.
Chairperson Richard?
Approved.
And Vice Chairperson Cohens?
Approve.
Okay. Okay, now we can take questions regarding the covenant.
And this is the one on 3301 West Rosecrans, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious to know, how long has that place been vacant? That property, I mean, how long has it?
You mean the parking lot?
A little bit, both of them.
Well, The one is a restaurant. The Fabulous Burger Restaurant, that's the one on Rosecrans. And then there's a parking lot to the northeast, which is vacant because it's a parking lot. And this covenant requires it to remain vacant because it is parking, overflow parking, essentially.
Okay, so I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
'cause there was a
So
little
when this
confusion here.
covenant is removed, then the owner of that parking lot will have the ability to develop it.
Okay. Then I'm okay with, I have no more questions because it was just a little confusing the way it was written here.
Okay, so we need a motion?
For context, this is the one, this covenant and whole thing was about the remodel we saw, the design review we saw for
Now, This
Fabulous Burgers,
this
right?
covenant goes back to 1988 because they had their small property and they needed additional parking, so they covenanted with this other property. Now,
Right.
the remodel that you saw also involved them acquiring the adjacent property
Right.
to their restaurant. And so now they're going to have parking there. They don't need this off-site parking any longer.
Oh, okay, so this is just removing it because,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha, yep.
Okay, that clarifies a lot.
I motion to approve.
I second.
Okay. Commissioner Houston,
Approved.
Vice Chairperson Coens,
Approve.
and Chairperson Richard.
Approved.
Okay, this is also approved.
All right.
All right.
We are on to item F.
Okay, the next item is conditional use permit CU 2023-0014 and design review application DR 2024-0001. And this is, let me see if I remember this one right. This is the cannabis application that is not quite ready. It will be put on the agenda for the next meeting. So we're asking that you continue this item to May 1st, 2024.
So moved,
Motion, go ahead.
so moved.
Second.
Yes.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, Chairperson Richard,
Yes.
Commissioner Houston,
Yes.
and Vice Chairperson Coens.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll take this up on May 1st.
Item G.
Okay, then this is a conditional use permit 2022 CU01, design review application 2022 DR06, and street vacation SD 2024-001. This one is also pending some additional information and clarification from the applicant, and we're asking that this one also be continued, but to a date uncertain, because we don't know how long it'll take to get that information together.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Richard,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Coens,
Yes.
and Commissioner Houston.
Yes.
All right, this is continued to a date uncertain. Next item is conditional use permit 2024-0001. And then,
Okay. Now is the time and place to open the public hearing to consider conditional use permit CU 2024-0001. Planning Associate Anise Bermudez.
Yes, Planning
Added the
Assistant Anais Bermudez.
Gotcha. Anais Bermudez will permit the staff report.
Good evening, Commissioners. I will be presenting conditional use permit application CU 2024-0001 for the on-site sale of beer and wine at Con Huevos Restaurant. This is a Type 41 ABC license. The applicant is requesting approval to have beer and wine service for customers in conjunction with the purchase of food for dine-in. The property is located within the C3 General Commercial Zone on the east side of Hawthorne Boulevard, south of 116th Street. It's surrounded by various residential and commercial uses, and the immediate neighbors are the classic barbershop to the north and a medical office to the south. The street you see on the west there, feeding onto Hawthorne Boulevard, is 117th Street. The restaurant is 2,400 square feet, located on its own parcel. The total lot area of this site is approximately 6,600 square feet. The restaurant has always shared parking with the barber shop, as both parcels are owned by the same property owner. So parking is not anticipated to be an issue here. This is the interior of Con Huevos. The restaurant provides 64 interior seats. There's no patio or exterior seating. Due to Con Huevos being a breakfast establishment, the hours of operation are 8 to 5 midweek, and it's open an extra hour on the weekends. Beer and wine will be offered at these times. So this brings us to our staff recommendation, which is that this application is compliant with the Hawthorne Municipal Code and is compatible with adjacent land uses. Approval will not result in negative impacts to the surrounding neighborhoods. Therefore, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt Resolution 2024-06, approving a CUP for the on-site sale of beer and wine within this dining establishment. Does the commission have any questions?
Mike, there you go.
Can you hear me?
There you go.
Okay. I think it's more of a silly question. I notice that it says right here, there shall be no live entertainment, amplified music, or dancing permitted. I'm pretty sure you guys just didn't mean I know what you guys meant to say, but is this actually like a...
That's probably just a standard condition that we've been putting into all of them. If you want to remove it, you just say so, and then if you get a majority, we'll take it out.
I think we can add dancing.
Okay.
I mean, it only makes sense to me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
So-
that's kind of a little more, that's restrictive. I think that's part of the fun. If you want to get up and dance, I see no reason to restrict that
Especially
in any
at
way,
breakfast.
unless you guys have a problem with that.
No,
No,
dancing and pancakes don't
What,
mix.
what I recommend then is you make the motion with the change to that condition to strike whatever words you want or leave whatever, or,
Okay.
if you,
Well,
or
let me
just
ask
strike the
you-
entire thing if you want.
Yeah, because the live music, entertainment, amplified music, isn't there already a CUP on how loud an establishment should be?
No, there is municipal code that deals with that, and also for live music, there's the need to get a license from the business license people. So if you struck that, then that would make that an option to them.
I would like to do that.
Okay, then make the motion as such, and if it's seconded, we can proceed without that condition.
Are you guys okay with that too?
I want to ask a question based on the wording you just used. You're saying, as it stands with this current condition, this is not an option
Not
to
an
this
option,
restaurant,
right.
to the restaurant. And should we strike it, then it would become an option for them
Yeah.
to then add that.
Yeah, and if you want to give direction to strike that for all future ones, we can take that direction as well, but you can always put it back in at your discretion. And the only way that might be a problem is if it's actually required per the municipal code. I'll have to check.
Okay. When you're adding this condition, is the condition ever set to say, given the space that this is, given where the zoning is, we're not allowing this live performance, or do we just say this is just our blanket general
You can do both.
condition? Oh, no, I'm asking as in current practice.
No, what I'm saying is it's a conditional use because you're supposed to look at the circumstances of the location and the type of restaurant, et cetera, et cetera. So if we do nothing, you'll have the ability to evaluate that every time. And if we take it out, you'll have the ability to evaluate it every time and put it back if you want. So, I mean, it's either it's always there and you can take it out, or it's never there and you can add it.
It's a fail close, fail open type of
Yes.
situation. Okay.
I say personally, I say we should strike 14. I mean, looking at the hours, 8 to 5 p.m.,
Yeah.
that's reasonable. Someone wants to dance and get up, that's okay. And we also have that option. We have our options open. I think looking even at the design itself, I mean, there's all that area, 8 to 5. I don't see a lot of things going wrong with that. Plus, we do have CUPs that have noise, right? We have our official noise capacity. If it gets so loud, it can be stopped, right? So
That's
we
correct.
can always revisit that. So I say we strike motion to approve without condition 14.
Okay, before you make the motion, though, we need to open this public hearing up to the public and to the applicant.
Fair.
Sounds good.
I do want to ask one last generic question about this. Though the condition says no dancing, does that mean that if someone were to, or code enforcement were to go by and someone was dancing, they would be cited for this?
No.
Okay, that's, like, I'm wondering, there is no real
And
enforcement
this is
mechanism for-
probably a standard condition that goes back to an era when dancing was a little bit more of an organized, thing.
Gotcha.
Dance clubs, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Dance halls or whatever.
Okay. Well, do we open so how do we proceed?
Well, this is the time to ask the applicant if they wish to speak.
Okay. Well, thank you. Issa, appreciate it. Is the applicant present and would they like to speak? Let's start with, is the applicant present? Does not appear the
Apparently not.
applicant is present. Okay. So there we go. Move on. And to this point now, I guess we'll entertain the motion at this point.
Well, ask if anyone else in the audience wishes to speak.
Fair. Is anyone else present that would like to speak to address the planning commission on this issue? Very lively
Okay.
now.
Now you can move on to the next part.
Okay. Then we'll
Okay.
entertain a motion.
So motion to approve, strike 14.
Got it.
The C,
Second.
Okay. Vice Chairperson Cohens,
approve.
Commissioner Houston,
Approve.
Chairperson Richard.
Approve.
Okay. I think I think we skipped an important step, but you got to close the hearing. So
Oh, that's fair.
We'll just do it retroactively. So
Okay,
do
we'll
it now.
retroactively close the public hearing on this
Thank you.
item.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Okay. Number 3 is design review application DR 2024-002.
Okay. Okay, now is the time and place to open the public hearing to consider design review application DR 2024-002. Planning Associate Anais Bermudez will present the staff report.
Sorry, just a moment. I'm having a problem with this. Okay. So I'll be presenting the design review application for DR 2024-0002 for DreamWork Development. This project is proposing the construction of a new single-tenant office building in the commercial zone. The property is located in the C2 local commercial zone on the north side of El Segundo Boulevard. The surrounding uses are commercial on either side and residential just to the north. The immediate neighbors are Louis Barbershop to the west and a real estate office to the east, A&A Realty. Currently, this lot has a residential style development with an existing single-family home and detached garage. The residential use was done away with in the late 60s to accommodate mixed use, commercial and residential. We also have city records, a building permit showing the property became fully commercial in 1980. The site is a little over 4,800 square feet, and the proposal is to demolish the existing structures and build a brand new commercial building. This is the site plan of the new development. The building will have offices, conference rooms, common spaces such as a lobby and kitchen. There will also be a rooftop deck, and the cutout is an open-air driveway leading to the enclosed parking area. As you can see here, this is the parking plan. The proposed parking for this project is lift parking. There will be 4 collapsible lifts that will accommodate 12 standard parking spaces, and the image on the right shows what this proposed parking would look like, although at a much larger scale. These are the proposed floor plans for the first and second floor. As mentioned earlier, the first floor will have those common spaces where you enter through the lobby closest to El Segundo Boulevard. Beyond that is a kitchen space and stairs leading to the second floor. Also on that first floor is the lift parking. The second floor is where you are in the common area, those gathered desk spaces, and then along the perimeter are a variety of private offices and conference rooms. The rear of that building is not used as any office space on the second floor. And then here at the very top is a roof deck. This is accessible to people in the building, and then just at the top of the image there, you can see the roof of the parking garage. So On the left here, you see what the proposed facade would look like for DreamWork development. The max height is 36 foot 6 inches. There's going to be a variety of colors incorporated in this development, predominantly white with wood accents. The framing around the windows is black, and the applicant has agreed to paint the rear of the building a dark gray stucco so that light doesn't blind the adjacent residential uses and disturb them, as that bright white can be very bright. And that brings us to our recommendation, which is to is that since the conditions of approval and their proposal is code compliant and won't result in any negative impacts to the surrounding neighborhood, we recommend that the Planning Commission adopt Resolution 2024-08 and adopt the Notice of Exemption approving Design Review Application 2024-0002.
Thank you.
Does the commission have any questions?
I actually do.
Okay.
The landscaping part, how much do we even have,
It's-
if any?
Yeah, it's very minimal, and it's not required, but they have provided a few planters in the front, and I don't have every sheet here from their plan set, but scattered throughout the property are going to be a couple of planters, essentially.
Now, is that going to be in the ground, or is it going to be in pots?
Pots. Let's see if I... Yeah,
Actually,
this is a... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
This is a rendering, but I have another image that shows that just outside of their lobby, they have a few plants.
Can I see what it is if you have it accessible? If not, that's fine.
I don't think I have it.
That's fine.
Okay.
It is in your,
Staff
in your,
report?
in your packet. Right after the drawings, there are renderings, and there are
Yeah.
some rectangular planters on each side of the door that are proposed.
Let me ask you one question, and that's it for the staff. I'm not sure if, I noticed some people in the city of Hawthorne, or not some people, some projects that are done, they're presented, but they're not finished. Like, suppose someone decides to put like a project, and then they just hold on for like 3 years or whatever, and then it never flourishes out to have that done. And then they come back to the department and then ask for something totally different. What's the policy on that, I guess, is what I'm asking. Like, suppose that we do approve this, and because it is a beautiful building, right? And it is going to bring, it's going to beautify the area and so forth. So this is actually a pro for the city of Hawthorne. But the question is, how are we sure that this is going to happen? And if it doesn't happen within a lot of time, is it 3 years, the allotted time for a project to be done and completed? And if, say, that a lot of time, it's, 30 days that they have of elapsed time where they need to come and have it approved before it expires. Say
Right.
that does happen, do they say they come back to the planning department and say, oh, we didn't finish, we want an extension of maybe the same project or a different project? How many times can
Well, the code
the
is not,
applicant come back?
the code does not provide a limit, and I am checking to see if there's a condition, because with design review, I'm not sure that there is an expiration. Anais, is there an expiration condition in this one?
I don't recall, Nathan.
Yeah.
I saw something, but I'm not sure if it was this one because there was a,
There is a limitation on the design review, and it's 3 years as far as I was aware.
Which condition is that? Because I'm not seeing that in there. Is that covered? It could be covered in the municipal code. I know that a lot of, like the conditional use permit applications are just by ordinance expire in 3 years. And it probably applies to this as well. So if that's the case, then yes, they can come back if they don't build it by then, and it's essentially making a new application, or they can come back and ask for an extension, which is the same application.
Okay.
Those are the two options they have. If it goes past 3 years, it just expires, and then their only option is to do it again.
Within those 30 days.
No, I mean, if it expires, it expires. Then they have to make a new application.
Well, I was under the impression if it expires after 3 years, they
Yes.
have a 30-day lapse where they can come back and ask for
No, that
another
30, that
extension.
30 days is before the expiration to come in and ask for the extension.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
So the timeline under 1799.090 is 2 years.
2 years?
The 3 years is for the CUPs.
Got it.
And at that time, they have to have a building permit that's been issued and construction diligently pursued, a CFO, a certificate of occupancy, or the design review approval is renewed.
Okay. Okay.
Can be
That is-
renewed, you mean? Yeah.
Okay, and one more thing. I noticed that when buildings, like hotels are built and so forth, I noticed that some of them, they don't use quality material. Is there any way of putting a CUP or something in the fact of, or written in the CUP saying something
Oh.
about, to make sure that what they propose looks and is made out of quality? Or am I
Well,
surpassing the limitations of what
No,
we're
no,
capable
this
of
is,
doing?
this is a perfectly legitimate request, and that's why we have these come to design review, which is, you know, what you guys are deciding on here. So what it says in condition number 2 is the property shall be developed in substantial conformity with the plans approved by the Planning Commission today, and as conditioned by any requirements that the commission puts on the project. So we can't have a condition that says something like only quality materials can be used, because that's very vague. But what they have proposed will be called out on their plans, and we can hold them to that. And
Where are you getting this from? Is it page
This
1
is,
on number 2?
Yeah, number 2 on the conditions of approval, it's at the end of the resolution, which is page 1 of the conditions of approval.
Just let me read this real quick. And that's the best that we can do, right, in order to, because it does have shall in here.
No, I mean, if there's anything in particular that you are concerned about on the materials, you can specify an alternative than what they've proposed. You have that ability.
I just want to make sure that, because I know there's a hotel over there in Imperial Highway, and it
This
looks
is-
dirty and so forth. Not this one.
Yeah,
I'm just
okay, got
saying
it.
in the
Yeah.
city of Hawthorne, and I was just like,
Yeah.
it's not. The facade is it doesn't look that great, and I just want to make sure that when the building goes up, I just want to make sure at least the outer layer, especially facing El Segundo, is made out of good quality. So that is what I would like to see. At least the outside of it looks nice facing the El Segundo side, because I know I visited that property, but of course I couldn't get to the back. But I would like to make sure that at least the facing forward in El Segundo is made out of, good quality material, or what do you guys think?
Anis, the plans that I have don't include the elevations, except for renderings. Do the elevations call out the materials that are used on the front?
I don't think so.
Okay. In that case, then, I would suggest that, put that to the applicant, ask what materials are proposed, and if you agree with them, then condition that they be the ones used, and if not, discuss with the applicant alternatives until you are satisfied.
But would this delay the process of, I don't wanna-
Not
well,
necessarily. If you guys can come to an agreement today, then your recommendation or your motion can describe what you're asking for. As long as you're not asking to redesign the building, you're just talking about the construction materials. That should be no delay.
okay, we can see what they say, and then we'll come back. I'll come back to you and see what happens, okay?
I had a couple questions just regarding the rooftop deck.
Sure.
So as far as the, I know in the documentation, we have a couple of residential properties that are, directly across the street here and right behind the proposed building. Is there something that obstructs the view that makes sure that people aren't able to look directly into the folks' home?
No, and I believe that the apartments just behind DreamWork Development are 2-story, so they're going to be about the same height. But I think there's a wall back there, but that won't prevent like visual access, essentially.
Okay, so there would be
Well, what,
essentially,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but what part of the property is the deck going to be on?
Facing El Segundo.
It's going to be at the front of the property? Then the residents won't be able to see anything.
Oh, that's
Okay.
right. The rooftop there, that's above the parking garage, that's not accessible from the roof deck.
that won't be used, and we aren't concerned about as there are on the, if you're looking at the El Segundo side of the street, you can see across the street, there are 3 other apartment complexes with windows that face towards the building. So I was just wondering, as far as similar to other questions we've had about just like line of sight type deal. But, okay. And then I had a question about on the last page of the report, you're showing the stucco wall.
Yes,
So that's going in the rear side, like facing the apartment complexes to the rear of the building?
correct. And then
Okay.
that left side that you see there is toward the other commercial site.
It's towards the other commercial site?
Yeah.
And that's simply there, just like you said, to block
Yeah,
the light
to minimize
reflection.
the light reflecting off of the white building.
Okay. And I'm looking here on the map image, just trying to get an idea of where we would see that wall. And I'm assuming the specific color of that wall is just to make sure that it's mitigating the light. That's
Yeah,
okay. Okay. Yeah, still kind of hard to wrap my head around what it looks like, but that this is good to me. Commissioner Houston.
I'm good.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ace. Appreciate it. Is the applicant present, and do they wish to speak?
Any questions you need to answer?
Why don't you come up to the
Yeah.
microphone then?
So you come up and let us.
Hello there.
Hello there. Thank you. I'm Gino Cozzolino for DreamWork Development. So,
Building.
wanted to answer any questions you have about the site.
Yes, the outside.
Yes.
Here at Hawthorne, we really want quality work, if all possible.
Okay.
What type of material are you going to be using for that outside portion? Or
So the outside's going to be all just a stucco construction. The wood facade that's at the front is it's like a weatherproofed wood, so it doesn't like fade very easily. It's really weather resistant. It's not like normal wood where you have to continuously keep staining it and things like that. So it really holds color. We use it in a lot of our residential developments, and just kind of holds the color really well. So
Okay. And one more time, it was Gino, correct?
Gino, yes, Cozzolino.
And would you mind letting us know how you're associated with the project?
I am one of the owners of DreamWork Developments.
Well, thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
that's really all the question. Oh, the car lifts.
Sure.
I'm not really familiar with car lifts, so I'm not sure if this is a staff question or I would say, can you give me a rundown about the car lifts, how they work? And my concern really is, how often do they malfunction?
For the most part, they're pretty bulletproof. They're very simple construction. They're just a hydraulic lift. There's not really much to them. It's just the equivalent of like, when you go to take your car to a mechanic and they just lift them up. It's the exact same mechanics. But yeah, as far as our malfunction, they're pretty bulletproof for the most part. They use them in residential developments as well.
Okay,
For
so I
parking.
guess this is a residential thing that they just kind of do it themselves, and then they,
Not necessarily. We're seeing more and more of this in commercial uses. When I was in another city, a little closer to the west, they were actually getting applications on a regular basis.
okay.
So it is something that you will see more of because the price of land makes it feasible.
Now, this isn't a requirement, basically. It depends where it's at and depends if metro systems are nearby, because I'm pretty sure there's a cap of the space that the parking lot, I'm sorry, let me kind of go back a little bit. Because there's metro systems or transportation systems, I'm assuming that there's really no need for, that it's required for them to have parking. Am I correct on that?
Not necessarily. It depends on their proximity. I don't think this one is within the half mile of a metro station. It's not. So they're not exempt from parking. So they're providing the required parking, they're just providing it as a sort of vertical tandem, if you will. So,
Okay.
which requires a conditional use permit currently, so
Okay,
we
so
got it
it's CUP
covered.
on that.
So if you're
Okay.
okay with it, given that it's a single tenant building, we're okay with even having a triple stacker
Yeah.
because it's gonna be them inconveniencing themselves if somebody needs to leave and theirs is at the top or something like that. But in a normal commercial setting, we would look at it a little bit differently. Like if there were two tenants here, you know, we'd want to see assigned parking, for example,
Okay.
as one option. But I don't think that's so much of a concern for a single tenant.
Okay. And well, I guess I'll let, I'm done with asking questions now. Thank you so much. I
No worries.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have no questions. It's a beautiful building.
Okay. Is there anyone who wishes to address the Planning Commission on this issue? All right, seeing none. Mr. McLean, are there any documents to place into the administrative record?
There are none.
Okay. Any commissioners and staff, commissioners have any final comments or questions of staff?
I'm good with it because of, well, the building is not, it's not a major hotel, so I think the number 2 CUP should be enough to cover us with the quality of the work and so forth. But that's it for me. Yeah.
So my comment would just be to staff. I know in some of the other projects we've seen in the past, you get a list. We can see what the materials are. They generally give us a list of like, this is the paint colors, this is the things we're doing. So is it proper for us to suggest a condition that the applicant submit a list of what the materials are so they can be attached to this and then approved
Not
to go
in this
along?
case, unless you wanted to continue it.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah,
won't do that.
because, yeah. When you approve it, it's approved.
We approve it. It's
Right,
approved. Okay.
and you condition it on things, but you can't condition that it not be approved if they don't provide those things. Does that make sense?
Right. I wasn't so much saying that it would be not approved, more to say, hey, they submit these things, and these are the things we're using. We're holding them to
It's
that.
not uncommon for cities to require materials boards. The problem with that, from our perspective, is that they pile up quickly and become a lot of clutter. But we could still require it and then just give it back to them at the end. So if you want that to be something that you'd like to see, then a little direction can make that happen.
In this case, because we've already received the information from the applicant, I don't think it's that.
No, I
big a
understand.
deal.
In this
That's what I was
case,
wondering.
really, you've got a lot of glass and,
Yeah.
you know, and there's not really much more than just a little bit of stucco and some wood.
Right.
So it's not critical in this case, but I mean, as going forward, if you would like to see materials boards for design reviews, then we can make that happen.
Gotcha. Okay.
Just one more question. The trash, how is that going to be? Is there like a, where is the trash located at? Now, is that something that's going to be on the street, for instance, when they collect trash, the dumpsters?
You want it?
So the trash, the trash will be in the building, and what happens is the trash company will drive a little Jeep with a forklift on it to the inside of the property and grab it, put it on the street for a few minutes, and when the truck picks it up, and then right away they take it back. That's how
Okay,
it's done.
great. Because sometimes they have those big old, they
Yeah.
have it like put right in the middle of the street for like a whole day, and I'm just like, wait a minute. so-
Not the commercial
Okay,
dumpsters. They're done
Okay.
within a few minutes.
okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, cool. All right, well, if that's the case, entertain a motion on this
Close
item.
the hearing this time.
Right, that's fair.
Thanks.
So now formally close the public hearing on these items. Thank you. And entertain a motion. Move to approve,
Second?
seconded.
Okay, Commissioner Houston, Vice Chairperson Coens,
Approve.
And Chairperson Richard.
Approved.
This is approved.
Congratulations.
And next is Zone Text Amendment ZA 2024-0001.
Now is the time and place to open the public hearing to consider Zone Text Amendment ZA 2024-001. Planning Associate Nathan Levy will present the staff report.
That should be assistant. I'm sorry. He hasn't been promoted yet.
Yes, planning assistant.
Go ahead, Nathan.
Oh, yeah, all you.
She's
Yeah.
Anais is switching it out for me.
Okay.
Yeah, trying.
Okay, so we have before you a zone text amendment, ZA 2024-0001. The primary purposes of this zone text amendment is to update the definitions of automobile repair within the city, as well as adjust the discretionary reviews that are required for the M1 and M2 zones. Those are our light and heavy industrial zones. So right now, the applicant themselves, they requested that the zone text amendment be to permit auto upholstery in regional commercial zones. This is where their shop is located. As you can see, I've got the larger sections of regional commercial circled there. They're not exactly in locations that we want to encourage auto upholstery or minor auto repair in general to occur. So we are going to propose something that will allow them to continue that use there, but in a legal non-conforming status. So what we're proposing is to, whoops. Oh, yeah, what I just said. What we're proposing is amending it to eliminate one of the discrepancies that we have here. So currently in the M2 zone, major automobile repair is permitted by right. No discretionary approval required. Minor automobile repair does require a conditional use permit. So it's a little illogical. This just happens when you're updating certain portions of the zone and miss the inconsistencies. So what we're proposing to do is essentially take automobile upholstery replacement from the major automobile repair definition and place it into the minor automobile repair definition. Automobile repair has changed through the years, especially upholstery. Previously, upholstery caused a lot of health issues, and with the lack of safeguards, it caused health problems that were consistent with industrial uses. Nowadays, AQMD, the Air Quality Management District, has placed pretty strict regulations on volatile organic carbons that really reduce a lot of the risks to health and safety. The upholstery industry, the auto upholstery industry, is really similar to a lot of the uses that we see in the minor automobile repair uses. You see things like swapping out batteries, swapping out audio equipment, swapping out other minor pieces of equipment on par with auto upholstery. With the major, it's more often that you'll see larger changes that will require longer periods of time, specialized equipment, things in that nature. So auto upholstery, to staff's point of view, fits better in the minor automobile repair. So as you can see here, we have in red and crossed out the current language of upholstery replacement. And in the bottom one, that is our proposed change to add upholstery into the minor automobile repair. The other changes, they concern that discrepancy with the CUP being required for minor. We are proposing to remove the requirement for a CUP in both the M1 and the M2 zones. This is because minor automobile repair is pretty much in line with the purpose and intent of both the M1 and the M2 zones. They're uses that are common, and they're uses that are something that we can actually have businesses that are interested and are coming into the M1 and M2 zones that might otherwise be deterred because of the process to get a CUP, which takes time and significant money. So the staff is recommending that the Planning Commission adopt the PC Resolution 2024-10, recommending to the City Council that they adopt an NOE under Class 5 CEQA exemption and an ordinance that amends Chapter 17.04, 17.32, and 17.34 to update the definitions of automobile repair and the zones within which they're permitted.
Okay, thank you.
Same motion to approve.
We're not at that
too
point
early.
yet.
Not there yet?
No. Does the Planning Commission have any questions for staff? If none, I do. Can we scroll back to there's the initial slide where you're showing the zones? Okay, so these circled items here, these are M1, M2 zones that we have here, right?
No. So the circled areas are actually our regional commercial. This is what the applicant had requested, was to change these zones to allow auto upholstery.
Okay,
And these areas of the city are not necessarily areas we want to encourage minor automobile repair of any sort.
gotcha. You answered my question.
Okay.
I was confused. I thought you were saying these were M1, M2, and we didn't want folks doing this here.
Right,
Okay,
right.
cool. So never mind, scratch that question for me. Yeah, that's all good then. Anyone else? Any other questions? Okay. So otherwise, is the applicant present and do they wish to speak? Please.
Hi guys.
Thank you.
My name is excuse me. Pardon. My name is Jaren Luna, and my address is 4611 West Imperial Highway, Inglewood, California. So basically, I've been doing auto upholstery since 2007, and I believe there's no effects to the environment or towards people around, the residents around my location regarding the work of upholstery. And if you guys could help me out with this dream of mine, this venture of mine, it would be really appreciative if you guys approved it, and that way I could proceed and move forward with this business venture that I have.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
guys. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you for being
coming.
here.
Absolutely.
And what is proposed tonight does solve that problem for you, correct? What we just spoke of? You don't have any issues with what we just spoke of and these rezonings? You're good?
It would allow him to continue his use of
Perfect.
upholstery.
Great.
Yes.
So basically, one of the main problems was the zoning. Originally, I applied for radio and alarm installations for the simple fact that it defined that I wasn't able to do upholstery. And by upholstery, I can, what I could describe to you as upholstery for me will be is basically what I'm doing is like seat covers and stuff like that, like dash covers. Like it relates to radio and alarms accessories.
Great.
So it's nothing major like industrial, you would say, or on that type of grade.
And I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Jaren Luna.
Luna. Okay, Mr. Luna.
Makes sense? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
guys.
Thank you for coming.
Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to address the Planning Commission on this issue? Please.
Hi, my name is Johan Kafil.
Can you say your name in
Sorry.
the mic?
My name is Johan Kafil. I'm here on behalf of my son Jason, who is the owner of the property. He purchased this commercial property about 2 years ago. Originally was more or less I don't want to insult it. It was supposed to be a tire shop or a mechanic shop. It was very filthy. Was a lot of oil all over, contaminated. And we really tried very hard to eliminate all of that. And we actually were almost vacant for a year and a half, because we did not want to have another situation come into the property, which ultimately maybe in the future, when economy is better, it's going to be a bigger project there. So we selected this tenant, Haran, for that reason, because his function is very clean, has zero environmental impact on the site, and hopefully one of these days, one of the board member would go by and see he's truly a honorable and decent person, and we are happy to have him, and I hope you guys consider his application. I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
We also have a recycle bin and a regular trash bin for any disposals. So far as in for like upholstery materials like fabrics and stuff like that.
Okay.
Just FYI.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Mr. McLean, are there any items to place in the administrative record?
There are none.
Cool. Do my fellow commissioners have any final comments on this item?
No comments?
I guess I can save this one at the end. I was just going to say I do believe in dreams.
Yeah.
And I do believe that people should, if they see something in the system that's not correct or a change, that I'm glad for people to step up and voice their opinions.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, so I will formally close the public hearing on this item. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve
Is-
Mr. Luna's dream.
Is there a second?
I second.
Perfect.
Okay.
Secretary.
Vice Chairperson Cohens,
Approve.
Commissioner Housen,
Approve.
and Chairperson Richard.
Approve.
Thank you. This is
Congratulations there.
guys.
Should we have a little
Well-
I
clap
know.
there?
It's
Well-
like I feel like
well,
we need to.
Let me
Wait. Oh,
let me just caution. It's a
do
little
that.
premature still. What you've approved is a recommendation for the City Council to
Right.
adopt this,
Correct.
and then
It's
once
one
that's
step closer.
done
One
in
step
2
closer.
meetings, and then 30-day wait period by law, then it will be official. So
We
we're-
always
we're-
celebrate the small wins.
I know.
We celebrate the small
babies.
I
wins.
just want to
Yes.
make sure the applicant is aware that it's
Yes,
not
please.
quite there yet.
well, thank you guys. Appreciate you for being here. All right. We are on to item. Oh, I think this is you. Yeah. It's motion to adopt PC resolution. I don't have an item here.
Yeah, we got that. There are no administrative
we
items
are
this week, so we're on I.
Aye.
Just, right now, the only certain application that we have is for the conditional use permit and design review for the cannabis retail store that is going to fill a very long vacant and blighted property on Hawthorne Boulevard near Imperial. So we're looking forward to getting that one done. That'll be the final one unless the ordinance changes. So that will be scheduled for May 1st. We do, just for your information, because I'm going to kind of insert a little manager's report, which I took out of the agenda, but I'm kind of doing it anyway.
There we go.
We did receive an application for development at the Hawthorne Nursery site. So we're going to see ownership units. I forgot the exact number. It's like 50 plus condo or townhomes actually to be built on those properties on both sides of El Segundo Boulevard. We're very excited about that since it's in the housing overlay, which you and the council approved in the past. They won't be here. They're free to just go forward, and the quality issue is controlled by a chapter in the municipal code that you also approved. So,
These are the smaller spaces, correct?
what do you mean?
These are the ones we approved that, in that square mile, that can go into the smaller family units.
I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
It was like 4 meetings ago.
No, this was approved much earlier. You might not have even been on the commission yet,
Fair
to be
enough.
honest. That's all I have.
Thank you.
So, okay, thank you. We're on to commissioner reports. We're going to start from the left this time. Commissioner Houston?
Just thank you, everyone, for coming. We always love it when people will show up and trying to make Hawthorne better. And for what we saw today, Hawthorne is getting better from who's here today. So thank you very much for both of you that are here, and we greatly appreciate it.
On down.
Oh,
Commissioner
my turn.
Cohen?
Yes, Mr. Loon, I do believe in dreams, right? I know this is a baby step, so your next step would be, of course, going to the city council. I would like to give a recommendation. It's always a good idea for request, or if you have anything to say, is also step up to the city council. Just make sure you get the times right, show up, speak up, and let them hear your story as well, and why you're so passionate in this. Just a suggestion there. If it's possible, are we able to get educated on the car lifts and how they actually work? I mean, is there any way that we can make some type of report, at least get a small little presentation, if there is time? I don't want to overload you guys because I know you guys are like very busy with other topics. Doesn't need, of course, be in the next meeting. It's when you have time available in the schedule. If that can maybe be done,
Yes, it can.
it'll be greatly appreciated.
Yep.
Also, there was an autism walk. I just want to give kudos to that, to everybody who participated in that. And I know Ms. Councilman Montero was behind that with assisting the person who wanted to do that. So kudos to everybody who showed up. And I do feel strong about this this project with the autism. So hopefully next year and the following years, we keep going strong with that. Want to also congratulate Mayor Pro Tem Katrina Manning on her appointment this past week. Congratulations on that one. What else? And if anybody ever has a problem or any questions at all pertaining to any type of projects, or if you are a business, want to come to Hawthorne, please come and please see us, because we want businesses to come to the city of Hawthorne. So that is always an open invitation. We want to beautify the place as well as, make it flourish. And so please come to the city of Hawthorne. There's a lot of opportunities out there, especially where we're located. I know it's almost like a 6.2 radius around the city of Hawthorne. It's a great location. Here around, we have Inglewood and all these other small cities. So this place is, I can already see that it's beginning to grow, and it'll be a great opportunity as well. And that's it for me. And thank you for coming, for the people who are here.
Okay. Same thing. Thanks everybody for being here. As I appreciate you. We really do love to see projects where owners and people who are committed to the projects actually come and present themselves here. It's really important to us, and I appreciate you guys, not just saying that to say that, but I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks to our commissioners, everybody for making here. We're all here to serve and do this business work of the city. Appreciate our city staff. Yes, for giving up your time to hang out with us. So greatly appreciated. And outside of that, I'm going to call this meeting adjourned at 6:59 p.m. Everybody have a good night.